This is the latest edition of Front Up, and I'm Whitey Willauer, and I've got a great guest today, Paulo. Is it Muller or Muller?
Muller.
Muller.
Yes.
Yes, and what do you do for a living, Paulo?
I wait tables for a living.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing that?
All my life.
And how did you get into that business?
Well, how did I get into that business? Gonna go way back. It was in early 70s in my home country of Italy.
Yes.
And I was looking at the prospect of being drafted for the military service, and I wanted to find a way not to do that. So I decided to go to hotel school in Italy, and that is a 2-year course.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn the trade, several languages, and basically what the job is about. And then you get offers, from other places. And after I completed my school, I decided that I wanted to learn English, and so I moved to England.
Mm-hmm. And did you start waiting in England?
Yeah, well, I started my apprenticeship, yes. I started at the bottom, passing tables.
I see.
Yeah, and progressed from
Yeah.
And from then on, I spent 2 years in England, and then I wanted to see the world, so I joined a cruise ship, a company that plays the dining room stewards on cruise ship, and I came over to this side of the continent, and the home port was either Miami or Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I actually worked on the Princess Cruises as they were filming the Love Boat. I don't know if you remember that show.
So you were in the show?
Yeah, and while they were filming it, yeah, no, I wasn't in the show. I was on a cruise ship.
Mm-hmm. And then how did you get to Nantucket?
How do I get to Nantucket? Okay, I live in South Florida, in Palm Beach County, to be exact. And at the time, in '99, I believe it was, a friend of mine was making the commute, because in the summertime, Palm Beach County gets really slow. Everybody, it gets very, very warm, and all the people, all the customers leave, because they have 2 houses. So they migrate up north. And so I asked this friend of mine to get me a job, and he positioned me with NIR. At the time, it was Nantucket Island Resort.
Mm-hmm.
And I applied, and I got a job.
Here at what restaurant?
It was the Brent Point Grill. That was in 2001.
So that's when you started.
Yes, May 15, I believe. In the middle of May for 2001.
And then where were you next? What restaurant?
The season ended early that year because of the September 11 happening. So I didn't keep contact with the same organization, but I made other contacts, and I got a job at the Summer House, at the Summer House restaurant in Wisconsin.
Yes.
At the time, there was a fellow was running the restaurant. His name was Michael Farrell.
Mm-hmm.
And I called him up, and he was, he interviewed me over the phone, and he said, yes, you got a job, and I came back.
So you did the Summer House, and then what happened next?
The Summer House, I was there for the following 8 summers.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was very comfortable there. And after a while, Michael Farrell left, and he relocated somewhere in Colorado, and after 8 years at the Summer House, I needed a change, and one of the managers that I worked with at the Summer House was working at the galley. So I contacted him, and I asked him if there was a position. He said, sure, no problem, come on aboard, and I did. And I worked at Galley Beach for the last 2 years.
And then you work at the Galley Beach, and then in the winter you work in
Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach County.
Yes.
What restaurants do you do there?
Lately is the restaurant I worked at is called Carmine Trattoria.
Mm-hmm.
Carmine Giardini actually owns a house on Nantucket, so we keep it close.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, where is your actual residence? Is it?
My actual residence is in North Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of keep coming to Nantucket every year, I was able to take advantage of when the real estate market burst a little bit, and I was able to get into a house. So in 2008, at the end of 2008, I became I got into a mortgage. Let me put it this way.
Oh, okay. So you own a house in Florida.
Yes.
And then you go back and forth between the
Correct.
two places.
Correct. Yes.
Now, tell me about the being a waiter here. What about the clientele? Has that changed at all, or how do you look at the clientele of these places?
I look forward to come to Nantucket every year because of the clientele that I'm used to in South Florida. The clientele that I work at the summer house at the Galley is actually the same. Some of the people also I see in South Florida, not all of them. Like some of them, they have places where I work. I see them, on a regular basis in South Florida. But on average, they're much more, pleasant to work with. They come here. This is a vacation spot, and I find easier to do my job here than I do in Palm Beach County.
Now, what do you do besides wait? In other words,
Here on Nantucket?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good question too, because it evolves throughout the years. I have a roommate, and he's a carpenter. And in order to make everything work for him and me, because he also has another situation, I help out. I help out on the job site sometimes. I clean up. Construction site, or go to the dump, or whatever needs to be done. And Sean also has been coming on Nantucket for many years. But his wife, he's married and he's got 3 little kids, and he has a house in Plymouth, but his main job is here on Nantucket. So he keeps a residence here, but he has a house in Plymouth as well. So like on Friday, he goes to the Cape and spends the weekend there, and on Monday he comes back and he works the week. So it's a situation which it works for the both of us, and it's functional. Everybody's happy. Especially when I cook for him, So.
Now, what do you do outside of work? Do you have any hobbies?
Yeah, you see, I have a little time for tennis. That's my favorite hobbies are tennis and gourmet cooking. And unfortunately, in July and August, I don't have very little time for any of those. Because the grind of the season, the schedule requires a lot of hours, weekly. But in in May and the beginning of June, like September and October, I have time to do that.
So you play a lot of tennis?
Well, not much. In Florida, I play an average between 12 to 15 hours a week. So I'm really right now I'm on a diet because I'm going back, and if I don't go back in shape, I'm gonna get beat up on a regular basis. So I'm getting ready for those guys down there.
Now, do you like your profession? I mean, is it something you look forward to?
It's the only thing I know.
I see.
So, the only thing I know, and then I tried, like I said, I help out on the carpentry crew, and I'm blessed that I have that job because it's I'm okay with it. When I was younger, maybe I had a little reservation of waiter, but now. No, I accept that it is my job. It's got its ups and downs. I think it's a good profession. For me, I learned different languages and I traveled the world.
Tell me a little bit more about why you became a professional waiter and went to school.
Yeah, well, in Italy, that's the way it's done. I mean, now it's like it's a dying trade. But like in the early 70s, if you wanted to, to proceed, that's the minimum required by law. Is called terza media, which would be the equivalent of early high school, and then you have you either go to like a school that preps you for college, or you go to trade school. And even there, like if I would have kept going in my hotel school, I could have studied 5 years rather than 2 years. And that would have made me eligible to go to college, And it's everybody in this country that they think but that's the way it's done in Italy. And I tell you, those 2 years, it's harder than high school because I had to study four languages. And then I had to start, no, and then most of the hours were practice on the dining room and bar. But then you have to study because it's a state-run school. And you have to study the components of the food, that to preserve them, not to poison people. So it's not an easy thing, you know. And the best hotels and restaurants in Italy, they require a diploma if you want to apply to a serious establishment. Otherwise, you don't get hired. It's not like here that is, you know, anything goes just about.
Yeah. So when you have your fellow waiters, are they trained as well as you are?
No, they're not.
I see. That's right. And do the restaurant owners recognize the amount of training you have?
Not on a seasonal setting. You know, we're talking about seasonal. For the last 11 years, I've been doing seasonal work. Seasonal work, basically, you have to do the best you can because you got a lot of people coming in at the same time, and you know, you cannot profess or practice what I've learned. You know, what I've learned, I never even came close to applying. You know, just because every situation is different. But at the time, you know, is what I needed, and he gave me, you know, like a ticket out of Italy. You know, like I said, I didn't want to get drafted. That was my main thing at that time.
Do you still have family in Italy?
Oh, yes, yes. I have two, my parents have both passed away, but I had two brothers, and actually one brother that lives here in this country lives in Seattle. We made sure there's enough room between the two of us. You know?
I see. So, well, thank you very much and appreciate your coming onto the program.
My pleasure. Thank you, Whitey.
Right. Thank you.